How will the Trump presidency affect you, and how can you get the most out of it? I have 5 points today that I want to make just about those topics. And I have within that a special message for men and a very heartfelt message to Black women. So let's get started. Number one, the first point I want to make is I want you and need you to download Project 2025 if you haven't already. It is 922 pages. I will put the link to the actual plan in the show notes because there are many organizations that have a watered down version of it. They have their own interpretation of it. They've sort of made Cliff Note versions. It is time for you, if you haven't already, to actually have the blueprint and the playbook and the reference document that the Trump presidency will be using. Very, very important. I advise you to print it out. I know I'm going to be highlighting it, going in there really, really deeply, because I have been asking myself all week, what am I going to do and how am I going to benefit from this administration? And there are ways that you can do so. So that's number one. Download, print out, study, and internalize Project 2025. Number two, I would like for you, and I also put the link here, if you haven't already, and I know I hadn't, go to Trump's website. He has his plan, Agenda 47, and the official Republican Party platform document. I want you to read that document. It's pretty lean, very, very intelligible, so you can understand it. It is a companion document to Project 2025. So I do want you to download and print that out. I want you to start looking at these documents because you need to understand how those policies, how his policies are going to affect you, your family, your community, and most importantly, this nation. There might be things that you're involved in. So for example, myself, I'm involved in real estate investing. It's one of the things that I've been working on for the last couple of years. And based on his plan, we can anticipate some of the things that we expect him to do. So according to the ICE report, 410,000 loans are in delinquency. 69% of those loans that are in delinquency at this time, those home ownership loans, are protected by regulations that the Biden-Harris administration put into play. This is just one example, and that's why I want you to study the document and draw out what's going to affect you personally and professionally. And so back to this example, those loans that are protected by forbearance or bankruptcy, or there's also other loss mitigation measures, such as some of those folks who might have fallen on hard times. Sometimes the bank will extend the length of their loan from 30 years to 40 years and lower payments and do all kinds of things, just all kinds of things essentially to help that homeowner not lose his or her home. This was put in place by this administration. It did not exist before this administration. And we anticipate, based on things that I'm reading, such as the ICE report and other recent periodicals that I've been studying, that those regulations will be deregulated and they will go away. And that means that a lot of homeowners will probably lose their homes. And so what does that mean to me personally? And I'm just giving you a personal example. That's why I want you to study these documents. I'm not just asking you to download, file, and print. I want you to look through them, create a study group around them, find like-minded people who understand the importance and the impact of these policies so that you can be prepared. Back to this example, for me, unfortunately, because a lot of people will probably foreclose, that means that there's going to be an opportunity to buy a home. And so I'm thinking about that. I have been preparing for that all year by doing things like making sure my credit is, above 740 and other things that I've been doing, right? you need to be doing the same. You need to get a plan together and get your stuff together. And let me just say this. If you've been a gig worker, or if you are a gig worker, or you're thinking about becoming a gig worker, or just doing odd jobs, I want you to make sure that you create a legal business structure, because all of the laws that exist even today benefit and largely are made for business owners. And you've got to believe that Trump is a pro-business person, and that there's going to be even more laws that benefit those that have legal business entities. So it's time for you to open that business checking account. It's time for you to create an LLC, or some other kind of legal structure, so that you can get the tax benefits and all the things that he will be rolling out to small businesses and business owners at large. So that's the second thing, is to make sure you go to Trump's website and download that document, which I'll also link in the show notes. And point number 3 was to identify what you want to get out of the next 4 years of him being in office. The fourth point I want to make, and this is where I'm going to really be very casual. I've been thinking about what to say. I have so much to say about what all has transpired, but I definitely wanted to send a message and love to our men. Half of my subscribers are men. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, those of you that understand the ramifications and the implications of the Trump presidency, I want to thank you for voting for us. I want to thank you for standing by us. Your sister, your daughter, your mom, your niece, your auntie, all the women who depend on and understand the importance of having men in our lives. Thank you. We are going to need your continued support more than ever. There are a lot of angry people out there, and I don't know why I do know why they're angry. I can guess. There's lots of reasons why people are angry, but that anger and frustration is being directed to women, not only emotionally and mentally, but now it's our physical safety that has always been a threat to us, by the way, as women. Any woman will tell you that, who's living in America and who has lived a little bit and has not stayed in a bubble. Our physical safety is always top of mind when we travel, we go certain places. We're always thinking about that. And so when you see a woman, even if it's someone that you don't know, my brother, please speak up. Your voice and your presence is so important. You don't have to take out a gun or tase anybody or do anything crazy. Oftentimes, and I just saw this play out last month in front of my building, where a woman got slapped by her boyfriend, and all of these men and women, but the men really were rallying around the woman, but also really giving it to the guy verbally and telling him, who was he raised, asking him, was he raised by wolves? Where was his mother? How could he hit a woman? They called the cops. And they didn't do anything physically. No one took out a gun or a bat or anything. They just let him know that his behavior was not okay, and what he had done to this woman was not okay. Unfortunately, she decided to stay with him throughout this whole process, and then ended up walking away with him, unfortunately. And when the cops came, she was already gone and he was already gone, but the cops were going through the different streets and really looking for this guy. And that's the kind of vigor and the kind of support, brothers, that we are going to need with you. And this goes right into my special message as a Black woman to Black women. If you are not a Black woman who lives in America, and you might not be able to relate to what I'm saying, so it's okay. It's really okay. And I want you to, if you think anything that I'm saying doesn't resonate with you, to exercise your own agency and to simply click away from this message, because this is for Black women. And I have some points that I want to make, because I can go on and on and on and on and on. Number one, Black women, I just want to say that I see you. I love you. I am you. I have sisters, I have aunts, I have my daughter, I have cousins that look and are all shades of the black, beautiful rainbow. And I just want to tell you that I love you so sincerely. I did not really realize or think that I would personally feel so dejected by what has happened. Now, I want to tell you that I actually predicted that Trump would win 4 years ago. My friends will tell you, because I've lived all over the not all over the United States, but I've lived in some red states. And I've had things happen to me, and I still have things happening to me, but not at the level that they occur in some of those states where there are large clusters of people who are just all the ists, misogynists, rapists, racists, narcissists, any ist, they're just hateful human beings. I've lived through that. And so what I understand about the Trump administration, or any president for that matter, is he is the face and the representative of a lot of the ideals that people have in America. This is what I said 4 years ago. And so the fact that he lost by such a small margin the last time should have really given us intel about where we were going to go and what could possibly happen again. And so I actually predicted, and I wasn't necessarily shocked by Trump winning. I think if sister to sister, when Kamala put her name on the ticket, I didn't know who she was. I didn't know much about her, because if you look at any vice president, they're not the forefront of the administration. They have things that they do, but they're not the forerunning mouthpiece of the administration. That's the president. And when I learned a lot about her over the last 2 months, right, and what she stood for and all of that, and overall, because none of us are perfect, I just felt, fuck. If, as Black women, we try to do the right thing. We try to operate with integrity. We stay within the lines. We don't, for the most part, try to be disruptors in certain spaces. We try to stay in our place for the greater good. Some of us were raised to just be humble and be thankful and to really sort of have that disposition. So when Kamala lost, I thought she is super fucking qualified. She operated with the things that I just said in terms of her character and her disposition. And what it reminded me of is something that happened to me several years ago, that there are a lot of people here in America that just can't fucking stand you. They cannot stand you. So the point number one, I want to make to Black. Second point, the first point was that I love you. The second point was, I really want you to examine really who is for you. It took me a while, I'll be honest with you, because I don't operate, in my, wearing my blackness on my skin, meaning that, you owe me something, or, no. I operate as a human being living in America, but I realize and recognize that the color of my skin is a threat to many, many people. There are people that will tell you, and you should be grateful for those that tell you. But there are so many more, as you probably now understand, that will never tell you, and they are secretly stabbing you in their back and doing things to sabotage your success in your professional life or personally. And they secretly cannot stand your brilliance. They cannot stand your magic. They can't stand your creativity. They can't stand the fact that you can think on your own. And I want you to be honest. And I want you to really, at this time, evaluate to the best of your ability who is really for you. I want you, Black women, number 3, and this is for anybody who's still listening, to respond with economics. I don't have to give a dime or patron any state, person or entity that does not acknowledge, respect, and understand that I am a person living in America and I should be treated as such, and that besides my dollar, I, as a human being, have worth and have value besides the dollar that I spend. So start taking your dollar and spending it in places and with people and with agencies and with companies that have demonstrated consistently that they actually give a fuck about you. I'm just saying. Because you don't have to spend your money anywhere. You don't. It is the power of choice. Black women, I want you to, and I could go on and on and on and on and on, because the word that I felt, that I will surmise the many feelings that I felt this week was dejected. I was like, I cannot fucking believe this, but I can't. And I know I'm cursing a lot because this is just, I need the fire that I feel. And this is not even the full fire. I've been taming it through prayer, meditation, through being calm, through practicing joy, the things that I've been telling you to do, right? Rev up the joy boosters. And in my last short, you should watch it. I'll link it over here or somewhere in the, I'll put it in the notes, the show notes, that it's important for us to take off the cape. This is my last point. I saw this and I'm like, yes, take off the cape. Take off the superwoman cape and put on the comforter. It is time, sis, to stop taking care of people that don't care about you. It is time to stop standing up for people, individuals, groups, organizations that have demonstrated they don't care about you and your well-being, and you're killing yourself going to an early grave, going to protest, going to GoFundMes, signing petitions, knocking on doors, doing all the hard work for what? For some of these people, again, I am making I'm not saying everyone, because if I was saying everyone, then, then good God, we'd all be hopeless, right? I'm not saying everyone, but we now have numbers that give us intelligence as to how we need to operate differently. I say all that to say, take off the cape, put on the comforter, take care of yourself, make yourself a priority. I have videos, and if you're new, or if you stumble on this, put yourself on the to-do list, and do not participate in activities or events that do not serve you, and where the people have spoken that said they don't give a shit about women, and they damn sure don't give a shit about Black women. Take care of yourselves, Black women. Take care of yourself. I have a lot of videos in the bank. I have just been hanging on by a thread, but I will be back next week, back sharing more longer form content, and about inspiration, health, and wellness, and the power of you. God bless you. Take care and be well.